you ever wondered why there are so many mirrors in Britney Spears' house? Is it because she's a narcissist? Is it because she loves to watch herself dance? No, those mirrors are the bars of her cell. I worked as a housekeeper in that Thousand Oaks mansion from 2019 to 2021, right during the peak of the Free Britney movement. The world was looking at the court documents, at the conservatorship, at her father, Jamie. They thought the villain was a man in a suit. But the real villain wasn't a person. It was the house itself. From the outside, the estate looks like an Italian villa, a palace fit for a pop princess. But inside, it's a laboratory designed to break the human mind. Those massive mirrors in the living room, the ones you see her spinning in front of constantly on Instagram, they aren't normal mirrors. They are two-way surveillance glass. One night, while cleaning the baseboards, I noticed a seam in the wall. I pushed it, and a panel opened. I discovered the service corridor running behind the living room wall. Do you know what was behind the glass? Cameras. High-definition night vision cameras recording 24/7, and speakers. At night when she sleeps, or when she thinks she's alone dancing in that living room, a sound is broadcast through those speakers. It's at a frequency the human ear can barely register, 18 hertz, the fear frequency. It induces anxiety, paranoia, and submission. And layered beneath that hum is a subliminal whisper. You are a butterfly. Your wings have been clipped. You cannot fly. Stay on the ground. Spin. You belong to us. That's why she stares into the mirror, not to see herself. She is looking for her handler behind the glass. What you are watching on Instagram isn't dancing. It is the live stream of a mind being shattered and reprogrammed in real time. When the conservatorship ended, the world screamed, "Britney is free." You are so naive. Her father was just the jailer. The real owners, they never let go. Britney Spears doesn't exist anymore. She is just a programmed shell. And I watched with my own eyes how they cracked that shell open. The hiring process wasn't conducted by an agency. It was conducted by a private security firm, Black Box Security. The interview felt more like an interrogation. They didn't ask if I could clean marble or polish silver. They asked about my medical history, my psychological stability, and my ability to ignore irregularities. The NDA I signed had a very strange clause, highlighted in bold: do not make eye contact with Miss Spears for longer than 3 seconds. If she speaks to herself, do not answer. If she shifts characters, leave the room immediately and notify the head of security. Shifts characters. I knew she had been under immense stress. I thought maybe they meant mood swings, or maybe dissociative identity disorder. But the wording, it sounded like they were talking about a malfunctioning machine. Like if the unit glitches, reboot it. The first thing I noticed while cleaning was the butterfly symbolism. It was obsessive. It was everywhere. On the throw pillows, the paintings, her necklaces, the stationery, even the hedges in the garden were trimmed into butterfly shapes. The media spins this as Britney's symbol of freedom and rebirth. But I knew the truth. Project Monarch, the MK Ultra sub-program dedicated to creating entertainment slaves. Victims are called butterflies. Why? Because the process involves trauma so severe it causes the mind to fracture, like a caterpillar dissolving into goo before being rebuilt as something else. Something beautiful but fragile, and easily pinned to a board. Britney's bedroom. It looked like a princess suite, but the windows were sealed shut. I tried to open one to let in fresh air once. It was bolted. The door locked from the outside, and above her bed, installed in the ceiling, was a strange lighting rig. Not a chandelier, not a reading light. It was a medical-grade stroboscopic light bar. Why would a human being, especially one prone to mental health episodes, have flashing lights that trigger seizures installed directly above their pillow? One morning, I brought her breakfast. She was sitting up in bed, staring at the strobe light, which was pulsing very faintly. "Good morning, Miss Spears," I said. She looked at me. I will never forget that look. Her eyes were open, but the light was gone, like a TV with the plug pulled. Her pupils were dilated to the size of dimes. "What day is it?" she asked. Her voice, it was a little girl's voice, high-pitched, breathy, like a 5-year-old. "It's Tuesday, ma'am," I said. Her face contorted. A muscle in her jaw jumped. Suddenly, her voice changed. It dropped an octave. It became guttural, monotone, almost robotic. "Tuesday is reporting day. Beta version loading. System check." I dropped the tray. The orange juice spilled everywhere. She flinched violently, and then, as if nothing had happened, she looked at me with that famous wide Britney smile. "Oops, you're clumsy." "It's okay, sweetie. I fall down sometimes too. I fall down all the time, but I get back up, don't I?" And then she started laughing. That laugh, it wasn't joyful. It was mechanical. It was a loop. Ha, ha, ha. Breathless and hollow, echoing off the sealed windows. Ground zero was that famous living room, the one you see on Instagram every day. Marble floors, high vaulted ceilings, echoey acoustics that make everything sound distant, and those massive floor-to-ceiling mirrors. I hated cleaning in front of them, because when I looked in the mirror, I felt like my reflection was looking back at me differently. There was a depth to the glass that felt wrong. One night, I was polishing the gold frame of the center mirror. I noticed a small latch near the floor. The mirror wasn't mounted to the wall with brackets. It was on a hinge. Curiosity got the better of me. I checked the hall. Coast was clear. I pulled the latch. The mirror swung open effortlessly, perfectly balanced. There was no drywall behind it. There was a dark, narrow hallway, a service tunnel running the length of the house. I stepped inside. The air was cold, much colder than the house. Cables, thick black fiber optic cables, snake along the floor. And mounted directly behind the glass were professional studio cameras on robotic arms, all pointed at the living room. Two-way mirrors. She sees herself. They see everything. Every spin, every tear, every moment of privacy. But the scariest part was the speakers. Lined up behind the glass were devices that looked like flat panels. I later learned they are called sound shower, directional speakers. This technology allows sound to be beamed directly into the brain of a person standing in a specific spot, like a laser pointer made of audio. If you stand 3 feet to the left, you hear silence. If you stand in the sweet spot, you hear voices inside your head. That's when I realized the truth about her dancing videos. Britney isn't listening to music when she spins. We hear music in the videos because they edit it in later, or play it softly from a phone. But in reality, she is dancing to the commands coming from those speakers. Spin. Spin faster. Don't get tired. Smile. Whip your hair. Ignore the pain. You are ours. That's why her movements are so jerky. Why her eyes are always locked on one spot in the mirror. Why she sometimes stops and looks confused, tilting her head like she's listening to a frequency we can't hear. She isn't performing choreography. She is obeying signals sent to her brain. Her body is being piloted like a remote-controlled toy. And when the signal gets weak, she spins. The spinning disorients the frontal lobe, making the brain more susceptible to hypnosis. It's a reset mechanism. One day, during the height of the court hearings, the tension in the house was palpable. The bodyguards, huge men in black suits who never smiled, were constantly on their radios. Sam Asghari was there. The world thinks he was her loving husband, her savior. I saw a different Sam. I saw a Sam who reported her every move. A Sam who checked her pupils with a flashlight. A Sam who was less of a partner and more of a handler. Britney was in the living room, wearing those low-rise shorts and the crop top. She looked exhausted. Her hair extensions were matted. She had her phone set up on a tripod, recording a video. I watched from the hallway shadow. No music, just the sound of bare feet slapping on marble and heavy, ragged breathing. Spinning, spinning, spinning. How can a human spin for that long without vomiting, without falling? She was in a trance. Suddenly she stopped, dead center in front of the mirror, directly in the beam of the sound shower. Her hands started shaking uncontrollably. Her face started twitching. Her left eye drooped. Her right lip pulled up into a snarl, like a computer freezing and glitching, and she started screaming, but the words made no sense. It was a word salad of trauma triggers. System, blue, Monarch, 404, Daddy, no, the wires, burning, the Mickey Mouse Club, the red shoes. She grabbed her head, started pulling her hair out in clumps. Get it out of my head. The buzzing won't stop, she shrieked. I wanted to run in and help. My instinct was to comfort her, but Sam stepped out from the kitchen. He didn't run to her. He didn't hug her. He walked slowly, checking his watch. Don't touch her, he said to me, his voice ice cold. She's just resetting. The firmware is fighting the host. Firmware, host. He pulled a remote from his pocket. It looked like a TV remote, but it had only one red button. He pointed it at the mirror. He pressed it. The lights in the living room flashed bright white, a strobe effect so fast it made me nauseous, and a high-pitched sound pierced the air from the mirror. I covered my ears. It felt like a needle in my brain. Britney collapsed to the floor instantly. She was out cold. 2 minutes later, I swear, only 2 minutes later, she opened her eyes. She stood up, fixed her top, smoothed her hair, walked to her phone and stopped the recording. Then she turned to me and smiled. Great workout, right, Rose? I feel so energetic today. Did you see my pirouette? The woman who was screaming about wires and burning was gone, replaced by the programmed, happy pop star. Her memory had been wiped. She didn't remember those 2 minutes. She didn't remember the pain. Do you remember the video with the knives? The media went into a frenzy. Britney is dangerous, they said. She's manic. She might hurt herself or others. The police did a wellness check, but I was in the kitchen that day. I saw what happened before she hit record. Britney came into the kitchen. She wasn't manic. She was lucid, but
but she was terrified. She opened the drawer and took out the 2 largest chef's knives. She held the blades, felt the cold metal against her skin. She looked at me, and in her eyes, I saw the real Britney, looking out from behind the programming. Just for a second, a prisoner looking through the bars. She was crying silently. "I have to cut it," she whispered. "Cut what, sweetie?" I asked, my hands shaking. She brought the knife not to her wrist, but to the back of her neck, right at the base of the skull, near the brainstem. "The chip," she said. "It's here. I feel it. It's buzzing. It's hot. If I cut it out, the voices will stop. The music will stop." She wasn't a maniac trying to self-harm. She was a desperate victim trying to perform surgery on herself to remove a mind control implant. She started clanging the knives together. Cling, 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 cling. She wasn't dancing. She was creating interference. The metallic sound disrupted the frequency in her head. She was banging the knives because the noise drowned out the command voice coming from the mirrors. It was the only way she could think her own thoughts. But then they came, her medical team. They gave her a shot, just vitamins, they told me. But after the needle went in, Britney's eyes rolled back. When they came forward again, the lucid Britney was gone. She went back to that glassy-eyed, obedient state. She put down the knives, and she went back to dancing. Why Britney? Why did they choose her? Because she was the perfect candidate. She entered the system young, the Mickey Mouse Club. That's where they prepped her. Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, Ryan Gosling, they all came from the same facility. They all have moments where they glitch on camera. But Britney was the queen bee. She was the most talented. She produced the most energy. There is a theory among the staff, a rumor we whispered in the laundry room, that the Britney we see now isn't the original Britney. That the original Britney, the one with the soul, the one who fought back in 2007, the one who shaved her head to stop them from getting her DNA hair samples, is gone. Maybe she's locked away in a facility. Maybe she didn't survive the programming. And what we are seeing now is a replacement, a clone, or a heavily modified alter ego. Have you noticed her teeth changed, her eye shape, her voice? Sometimes, when I looked at her, her skin looked synthetic, too smooth, and she never ages. She has been 25 years old for 20 years. While the world was entertained by her music, they fed on her energy. Thousands of people screaming her name at concerts. That is a massive energy transfer, an occult ritual of worship, and Britney is just the conduit, the idol. She collects that energy and funnels it to her owners, the unseen elite who run Hollywood. The day I quit, I looked in the mirror one last time before leaving the house. I saw Britney's reflection in the glass, but Britney wasn't in the room. Only her reflection was there. It looked at me. It smiled a cold, dead smile, and without moving its lips, I heard the words in my mind. Run, and don't look back, or they'll make you a butterfly too. Go to Britney's Instagram right now. Watch those videos again. Don't listen to the music. Watch them in silence. Look at her eyes. Sometimes you will see her pupils change shape, vertical slits, like a reptile. Sometimes in the background, in the mirror, you will see the reflection of someone who shouldn't be there. A dark figure standing in the corner. She isn't free. She never was. The Free Britney movement was just a distraction, a psyop to make you think justice was served. They took the leash out of her father's hand and handed it to an invisible master, an AI, an algorithm, a demon. If one day Britney seems fully recovered, if she starts doing interviews again, know that it isn't Britney. It is a final version, a perfect doll, because the real Britney lost the last piece of her mind in that mirrored room, spinning in circles, trying to find a way out of the maze.